everyone, welcome back to my channel, New Me by Hannah. It's so great to have you back with me today. I hope you're well. So, are you working from home at the moment? Are you potentially struggling to juggle family life with work life? Are you having some issues with that? If so, please stick around because I will give you my top tips for working from home. Before I get into this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell just so you can get future updates on videos just like this. Now, according to research, the figures for people working from home were around 5-6% before the pandemic. At the moment, they're around 43% to 50%. So almost half of all employed people in the UK are working from home or have been working from home in the recent months. Also, according to research, apparently around 9 out of 10 people who are working from home currently want to work from home in the future. So it seems like people are actually enjoying it. Before the pandemic, I was working from home in a previous job. I was working from home maybe once a week or 1 day a week, which really helped with the commuting. It helped me to feel less worked up about going into work, and it kind of broke the week up for me, so I did enjoy it in that way. Since the pandemic, I have been working from home 5 days a week and normal hours. I don't have kids, so I haven't had anything extra to worry about in respect of that, but it has been troubling. I have had times when I've been like, oh, just get me back to the office. As much as I love working from home, there are some parts that I found particularly stressful. When I started working from home, I actually worked from my sofa, so I worked right here. I don't live in a very large flat, so this was about as good as I could get, unless I wanted to sit in bed all day, which I didn't at all. So what I was finding was that my work life, I chill here, I work here, it just became a bit icky. So yeah, that was the first main problem that I had working from home. Second problem, obviously interacting with people. You start to feel quite lonely, especially if you have problems. Obviously, if you're in the office, you can bounce them around people, and working from home, you just can't do that as easily. You don't know who's available, who's not, sometimes. So it has had its issues for me, but I have resolved some of those and I would love to share them with you. My first tip, if you are working from home or having to work from home in the near future, is definitely to have some kind of designated workspace. You don't necessarily need a desk, although it works a lot better that way, but certainly to have a space away from your living space that is specifically for working. This just helps the work-life balance. It helps you to distinguish between time that you're working and time that you're chilling. I also just find that I can be more productive. So if I'm sitting on the sofa, for example, and I'm working from home, I will quickly get distracted I'll be tempted to put the TV on, or I'll be just generally tempted to chill like I do regularly on the sofa. That's just how it is. So definitely a designated workspace is very, very good for when you're working from home. My second top tip for working from home is to get dressed. It's so simple, but so effective. I mean, if you're going to roll out of bed, go to the laptop or your desktop, and you're still in your pajamas, your brain will be still thinking that you're sleeping or that you're relaxing. So you need to get out of that mentality and you need to get dressed. Basically, if you are dressed for sleep, it's going to be very, very difficult to get your brain to wake up and to be motivated and proactive. So by getting dressed, you're effectively telling your brain that it needs to do something. It needs to wake up. It's the day, you got to do stuff. So yeah, definitely get dressed. My third top tip is definitely to exercise. At some point in your day, you should be getting some regular exercise. Research showed that over lockdown, most of us were getting at least 50% less daily exercise. So that's because we weren't commuting, we weren't moving around the workplace, we generally just weren't getting out. So if you're like me, I prefer to work out before work. I like to get up a little bit earlier and either go for a run or a walk before work. I also like to go for a quick walk at lunch if I can, just to kind of wake me up a bit, perk me up for the afternoon. Exercise definitely has its benefits. For example, it can definitely help build your body's resilience. So, especially during the pandemic, that's really useful because it can help boost our immune systems. It also gives us better circulation, stronger joints. It obviously helps you maintain a healthy weight, and it can also promote better sleep, which is really important when you're working from home. Just moving on to mental health benefits as well. It can definitely remove mental fatigue, so it can make you more alert, more productive. It also reduces the stress hormone cortisol, so it will definitely help you feel calmer and more yourself. It is recommended that you get 150 minutes per week of moderate exercise. It's also recommended that you try and get 2 types of strength exercises in there as well. So, strength exercises is not just your weight training. Strength exercises can cover yoga, it can cover even lifting heavy items, lifting children, carrying children. Gardening, if that's something that you like to do, is also there as well. So anything that can get you moving, just get your heart rate moving, is really good for you. And definitely exercise for me is one of my biggest tips and one that definitely helps me on a daily basis. Moving into work, my tip number 4 is definitely to arrange your day. This is a huge one, especially if you have children. It's very important that you arrange your day well so that you're productive, you get your work done, whilst you're also looking after your other responsibilities as well. So if you do have children and maybe a partner at home, it's a really good idea to try and alternate it so that your partner can do maybe 2.5 hours while you're working of childcare, and then you switch over, and then alternate throughout the day so that you both get the work done, you're both being proactive, but at the same time you're also looking after your children and your other responsibilities. This kind of coincides with my tip number 5 as well, which is about productivity. Now, your body clock is always going to be more productive in the morning, so you need to figure out when you are most productive, when you're going to get the most work done, and you have to make sure that your day is built around that. So if you have a couple of big items that you maybe need a bit more mental brain work for, you must make sure that you do them earlier in the morning if that suits you best. Similarly, it's proven that after lunchtime, your body is going to be slightly slower as it absorbs all the food. So maybe move some of your easier tasks or ones that you don't need so much brain work for, so just after lunchtime to help you out. So going back to tip number 4, make sure you do plan your day, but you have to also make sure that it is designed in the best way to fit you, your productivity, and your mental abilities. Research does show that we get distracted very, very quickly. It's just human nature. The human brain works in a way that around every 3.5 minutes, our brain wants to change tasks. We're not focusing on tasks for very long. In fact, in a typical 8-hour working day, we are probably only doing core tasks for maybe 2.5 hours. So just make sure you arrange your day in the most proactive way as possible. This also feeds into my tip number 6, which is to take regular planned breaks. This is so important. It's very important to structure breaks, and it sometimes can be a bit of a give and take with yourself. So you can tell yourself, you give me 2 hours of good, decent work, and in return I'll give you a 10-minute break. Something like that, just to make it seem like you're rewarding yourself by being the most proactive and productive that you can be. If you live with your family as well, or a partner, it's also a really good idea to take lunch with your partner or your family. This is just to enhance your social connection and just have a bit of downtime, and to get back into the home life just for a brief bit of rest in between your workday. Tip number 7, keep your social connections strong. I know it's the dreaded thing at the moment, but you just have to make video calls at some point. Working from home, it can get really isolated, it can get really lonely. So video calls are the perfect way not only to check in and just to see other people, but also to help with their mental well-being as well, and just to reduce the stress and anxiety that working from home can sometimes give to you. Tip number 8, unfortunately, I'm sorry, I'm going to get some hate for this one, but don't watch TV. Just don't do it. If you don't do it in your office, don't do it at home, because it's not going to lead to a productive day for anybody involved. So if you can, try to avoid going for the remote control and just leave it off until you've finished your work. The quicker you do your work, the quicker you can get the TV on if that's what you want to do. But don't have it as a distraction, and it'll be there and you're still working, and you'll just have to work for longer to compensate for the TV. So just don't do it. Leave it alone, set it aside and don't touch the remote. Tip number 9, food. Always food. Make sure you prep your snacks specifically. So going to the kitchen can be a distraction, which sometimes is welcomed. I mean, you need to get away from your desk or your workspace sometimes. But if you are not prepping your snacks, you are going to eat. You are going to eat whatever's there, whatever's to hand, and you are just going to put on weight and not feel good about yourself. So it's really important to keep things on hand that you can just pick up and snack on whenever you feel like something to eat. I also enjoy actually prepping lunch as well. So maybe if you're making dinner, just do a little bit extra that you can have for lunch the next day. Not only does it save you time and energy, it also means that when you have a lunch break, you are having a break. You're not having to go and do more housework to cook. You are managing to spend more time with your family if that's what you can do, and it just gives you the mental ability not to stress about anything else. My final tip for you is to shut it down. So when you've done your work day, or you've completed all your activities or whatever you have to do in a day, make sure you turn your computer off if you can, and make sure you can put it away, or you can just have it where you can't see it. When you're working from an office space, the commute home is the perfect way of shutting it down. So you literally can't take your computer with you in most cases. So having to step away from the computer and commute home is your way of separating your work life from your home life. So when you're working from home, you need the similar separation. So you need to make sure that you are closing your computer down at the end of the day, turning it off, putting it out of sight, and then you can separate that and get on with your home life. It just makes it so much nicer for you. It means that you're not overlapping the two. I would absolutely love to hear what your experiences are from working from home. Are you having any trouble? Is it, are you enjoying it? Like, what is your experience? Tell me. I am quite enjoying working from home. There are some things that I would prefer. Like, I would prefer a proper office space in the home, which I unfortunately can't have at the moment. I'm also really missing that interaction with people, but we have started like a weekly catch up now, which is working quite well, and it kind of It doesn't make up for it. It's still not human interaction, but it's definitely better than literally just sitting by yourself. I hope that this video has been helpful to you in some kind of way. If you've got any questions, please pop a comment below and I will try and answer them. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.